he's one of us. Stephen A. Smith have on a regular basis shown us that he's a op. He is not for us. Yeah, it sounds good when he tries to go on First Take and on his own podcast and try to say he's one of us. Stephen A. Smith isn't one of us. He is an anchor baby. And people need to remember that. He's not for us. He tried to pretend, and at one time maybe he used to be, but he transitioned over to being a full-time sellout and a coon. Here we are, the black community celebrating the success of Bad Boys 4 that debuted #1 at the box office, has grossed over 104 million globally. And we're also congratulating and celebrating the return of Will Smith to box office supremacy after that debacle with Chris Rock. Instead of us celebrating black excellence and celebrating Will Smith and Martin Lawrence having a film celebrating two black men in the leads coming in at #1, we got to sit up here and have this discussion, a fake, you know what I'm saying, discussion, or basically a fake talking point by Stephen A. Smith saying that Will Smith needs to sit down and address the black community for what happened with Chris Rock. Will Smith don't have to address nothing to me. And most of us, and based off how we went to the movie theater and saw the movie because we knew what was at stake and that we needed to move on because we know people been gunning for Will Smith because Will Smith was too successful. Will Smith had gained too much power. Listen, I know Will Smith has some questionable things outside, Hollywood, but technically nothing's been proven. Okay. Right now it's just hearsay, and to a certain degree, I just don't care. I ain't got time to be worried about what everybody and anybody is doing. Whatever, is going on with Will Smith, that's his business. He's not hurting me, and he's not hurting anybody close to me. So, therefore, it is what it is. Stephen A. Smith got some nerve trying to say somebody need to address the black community. He need to address the black community why he's such a coon. This dude ain't for us. This is a dude that go on talk shows that are, basically hosted by known racists and talk about black people to known racists. And then basically these people regurgitate what comes out of Stephen A. Smith, Watermelon Man mouth. And then when you say, hey, man, that's racist. Oh, well, my friend, well, Stephen A. Smith don't speak for the entire black community. Keep in mind, it's the same Stephen A. Smith that defended Jerry Jones being at a Jim Crow rally. Being at a Jim Crow rally. It's the same Stephen A. Smith that defended, basically, well, he didn't defend. He basically didn't have the same energy for Aaron Rodgers, who lied about taking the potion versus Kyrie Irving. This is the same dude that's went on a relentless tirade against Kyrie Irving, tried to destroy his career, tried to destroy other black men's careers and reputations. From him always picking on Kwame Brown, him always trying to get Marvin Lewis fired. He has a long-standing reputation of doing this and undermining the black community. Didn't have no smoke for Megyn Kelly, defended Megyn Kelly when Megyn Kelly was sitting up bitching about the black national anthem. He never had that same energy. Same dude that defended Dana White. Why don't you ask Dana White to do a town hall addressing why he was fighting with his wife? You gave him a full-fledged pass. Like I said before, we didn't moved on from this Chris Rock stuff. It's been two fucking years. Okay, let the man move on. for the most part, it appears that the black community has moved on from the Chris Rock situation at the same time. Here's the thing with Chris Rock. Next time, Chris Rock, don't sit up there trying to humiliate somebody's wife. Now, whether Jada Pinkett deserved to be defended by Will Smith, well, that's another video for another day, and we've spoken on that. We all said when it first happened, Will Smith used bad judgment. He shouldn't have did that. But I will say this, and I stand on this 100%. Had this been the Source Awards, or if this been the BET Awards, or there been some award like the NAACP Awards and this happened, I don't even think this would have been that big of a deal. But we all know it was the Oscars. But the funny thing is about the Oscars have had incidents before. John Wayne tried to run on stage and run up on a on a 5'4" lady, and John Wayne was listed as 6'4". So he had to be restrained. So let's just stop it. Stephen A. Smith is not a friend of us. I just think him and Jason Whitlock compete with each other on who could be the biggest coon, and that's all it come down to. We all then moved on. We all then moved on from this Will Smith stuff. We're tired of talking about it. We all said when it first happened that Will Smith was wrong. But then again, Chris Rock, I don't feel that bad for Chris Rock. What I think is happening, Chris Rock has drifted back in obscurity and nobody cares about him. And he sees that Will Smith has bounced back based off the box office results of Bad Boys 4. But to sit up here and basically try to reignite a fire that's already been put out and we've already moved on from it just shows what type of house nigga that Stephen A. Smith really is. And I think we're tired of it. Leave Will Smith alone, dude. Okay? Leave him alone. We've all moved on. The black community is spoken based off how we took our asses to the movie theater and supported that movie. Once again, it's rare when you have two black men in the leads. They already don't like to give us much opportunity to begin with. They like to put us in the roles they think we should play in, black men and black women. And then hear this nigga come with this stuff, talk about, well, I don't feel comfortable. Dude, then don't watch this movie. So what? So what, dude? So what? Like I said, it's always one of us trying to undermine us. But at the end of the day, we know your white bosses put you up to this because they want to keep this going. It's funny when they do something to somebody, they love to tell us we need to move on and how we're going to get better as a group and as a people if we don't move on. So now I ain't moving on from nothing when y'all do something to us. I'm going to keep bringing it up. Like I said before, you defended Jerry Jones being caught at a Jim Crow rally. You defended Megyn Kelly crying about the Black National Anthem. You ain't said, you always talking about Diddy, but you ain't said nothing about Kevin Spacey. You ain't said nothing about James Dolan, the owner of the New York Knicks. You ain't said nothing about Bob Kraft allegedly being caught in some inappropriate stuff. There you have it. So keep the same energy, dude. But you won't. You won't. You won't. He never keeps the same energy. So, and I just gotta say, this is just nerve-wracking. We can't never, as black people, celebrate something good happening to us without somebody like Stephen A. Smith or Jason Whitlock. And then I'm also going to talk about that white reporter that basically tried to put those women on those black women on the Olympic committee or have a say so in who go to the Olympics, basically for not putting Caitlin Clark on there, that white reporter, and he put them women's lives in danger. It was no need for him to put out an article showing what the women look like because he's trying to insinuate something. At the end of the day, it's not a good look. And Stephen A. Smith needs to shut the fuck up. We're tired of this dude. Like I said, if you ain't gonna have that same energy, that fiery energy that you have when you love wagging your finger at brothers talking about what you disgusted by and all this kind of stuff. And by the way, y'all, I want y'all to understand something. Why ain't people bringing up what happened with Christoph Porzingis, where he allegedly held a black woman against her will, and he allegedly did the unthinkable to her, and quote unquote, this woman tried to report the incident immediately. Maybe she should file a civil lawsuit against him. Quote unquote, she said that he said that she was gonna be his black slave. Why ain't Stephen A. Smith said anything about Chad Willer? Chad Willer, that 6'7" white man that beat his black girlfriend within an inch of her life. Where was Molly Quam? Where was Malika Andrews? Where was all those so-called feminists on ESPN talking about this? And they didn't have no smoke for Pat McAfee neither. So I'm just saying, Stephen A. Smith didn't wag his finger and give Pat McAfee a lecture. So there you have it, man, about Stephen A. Smith, man. I'm out.